Today's episode of the Outline Podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering the listeners of this podcast one free month and an audiobook to listen to during that time. I would recommend listening to Gay Hendricks, PhD, The Big Leap, Conquer Your Hidden Fear, and Take Life to the Next Level. It's the perfect listen for those who are ready to start that business, open that bakery, write that book, audition for that role. It's really all about getting out of your own way, so I would recommend trying that for your free trial. You can redeem this by going to www.audibletrial.com/outlinepod. Once again, www.audibletrial.com/outlinepod. All right, let's start the show.
The Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. The Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. This is the Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. With Kevin Dwayne.
Good morning. It is the Outline Podcast. It is Wednesday, October 18th, just so you can have a reference of when I'm recording this. It is 6:46 a.m. I literally woke up and said, all right, let me do this podcast first thing in the morning. I have my water right here. So lately what I've been doing is I've been really drinking more room temperature water. Christina has gotten me into the whole alkaline movement, so I've been trying to drink more of those type of waters because when you have when your body is fully, I guess, alkalized, or whatever the word is, I know I'm using it wrong, cancer can't live in a body that has alkaline in it, and that's ultimately, I think, the goal, but it's like the healthiest form you can be in. So lately I've been drinking alkaline water, and you can find it in QT and Kroger and Publix. I've been trying different different brands because it's water, and I've really been enjoying it. There is a certain type of hydration that comes along with it, and it's hard to explain. It's more than just a placebo effect. It's like legit because the water has electrolytes and the pH is much higher, and drinking it just makes you feel a lot more vibrant as well. So I've been drinking it before bed, first thing in the morning. But lately what I've been doing is not just with alkaline water, with regular water. In the mornings, I've been drinking a liter of water to begin my day. So instead of having coffee, which I still have later in the day, but instead of having it first thing in the morning, I just have a liter of water. And that gets me started on 4.2 cups of water. So that's, half of the 8 that we're supposed to have at minimum, but I do that in the morning. And what it does is it kind of it calibrates your stomach. It prepares it for food later in the day. It wakes you up, and most importantly, it hydrates you. I think people aren't hydrated enough, and this is why we have digestive problems, and we're not functioning the way that we should because we're not drinking enough water. We're not pushing all the toxins out of our bodies, and it's important to get your water in. And so that's how I start. Just begin the day with that first 4 cups. Just drink that liter of water. And it's been room temperature because of different articles that I've been reading. Room temperature is what we should be drinking. And, it's a suggestion. I try not to be, black and white, do what you want. But when I'm reading, room temperature is just better because you're not shocking your body. When you drink cold water, you're actually shocking your body. You're shrinking certain organs, and not organs, but cells in your body, and it makes it harder to digest food. Room temperature water is better for digestion. The times you are supposed to drink cold water is when your blood temperature is higher. And so that's when you're working out or you're like in the heat. That's when you can drink cold water because it cools your body down. But if you're just waking up on a fall or winter morning and drinking cold water, you're actually putting your body into a quick shock. And that's actually not the best for you. So all that to say is I've been making myself drink more room temperature water, and it's just not bad. It does feel like it moves a little bit quicker through my system. And yeah, so that's how I've begun my morning. And I said that I will start the podcast. So thank you for being here to listen to it. Remember to tell your friends about the podcast, share it, subscribe it, comment, go to Apple Podcasts and rate it. Remember, that's how people find out about the podcast, by you rating it and by you leaving comments, because it creates a certain buzz in the platform where it's like, oh, this is this is rising up on the charts and stuff like that. So all of that does matter. So thank you for those of you who have, and thank you for those of you who will in the future. I want to give a quick shout out to Sensei Raven. He was on the show a few months ago. We did the We All Can't Be Broken episode, and we just talked about yoga. And, he's my yoga instructor and my yogi. And he has a podcast now, you guys. It's about 5 episodes in, I believe. It's called the Healing Space Podcast. And you can find that on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Google Play Music. Just search THS Podcast, and you should find it. It's a great show. He has special guests on there, and it's all about healing through pop culture, healing through music, healing through storytelling, healing through just keeping it all the way real, and it's a great show. I really enjoyed the show about a week or so ago about dating in your 30s. He really laid out his perspective, and he's become a really good friend of mine. So I see him a couple times a week, whether it's at yoga or we're just having brunch, and he and I are so yoked well. He's a Scorpio, I'm a Pisces, and that's like top compatibility. And we kind of finish each other's sentences and thoughts, and it's just so dope to have someone just get you, and we get each other. So a lot of times we'll talk about things, and then he'll have one viewpoint and mine will be similar, but I'll go a different way. And sometimes we'll be like, okay, do this on your podcast, and I'm going to talk about this, because they go hand in hand. So definitely check out The Healing Space. It's a great podcast. So shout out to Sensei Raven. I also wanted to move into a little more, sad news, but I wanted to kind of do it at the top of the show. I wanted to send condolences and a message of peace to the family of fashion designer Michael Knight. You're probably familiar with Michael Knight from Project Runway. I know that anytime I think Project Runway, I instantly think about Michael Knight. He was the black gay guy in like 2006, I want to say. He tried out in 2005, but didn't make it. But then in 2006, he came back, and, he ended up being like a season favorite. And so he passed away on Tuesday, October 17th at like 7 in the morning. Unknown causes. His family just wants, to be private at this moment, and, just remember him the way he was. But he was 39 years old, and I'm always, young deaths they're just so interesting to me, It's, you think someone has so much life to live and so much to do, and their life is cut short, so quickly. So it's always kind of hard to process, but still a job well done. He's done so much in his time on Earth, and, he's definitely left a mark in some great fashion, and he seemed like a great guy. And I've seen so many pieces from friends who say nothing but the best about him. So condolences to his family, peace and blessings, and rest in peace, Michael. So the last week has been interesting, to say the least. I know I talked to you guys last Wednesday, and so much happened since then, and I do love my life. And I think that's important to say, especially after the last segment or, message about Michael Knight. I think it's important to always speak of being grateful and being content and happy with where you are in life. Like, no matter what I'm going through with like my regular 9-to-5 and all that shit, I'm still living a very good life. I'm still very happy with my friendships. I'm still very happy with the opportunities that I am presented. And life is just very interesting. I tell people that when I do leave this earth, I'm going to have one of the coolest obituaries ever because it's going to have everything in it. I mean, photographer, hair model, uh, what have I done? Teacher. I say yes to everything and I do everything. And so let's go ahead and add softcore porn to that, but I'll explain. So last week I told you guys that I went to the Pride Mixer, and that's why I ended up doing the podcast on Wednesday morning and changing it up. But when I was at the Pride Mixer, I got a call from my barber. He's like, "Hey, I have someone who's looking for a videographer, but they need it like as soon as possible because they're having this party at the end of the month." I'm like, okay, cool. Well, give me their number and I'll contact them tomorrow." So I contacted them on Wednesday morning, around like 11 a.m. So I was talking to the young lady, and she was like, "Oh, I've heard great things about you, and we need this, this, and that." She was telling me the scenario, like, we're having a masquerade party, and it's for Halloween, and we really want to get this done ASAP. The problem is the location we're having it at is about to rent out the space for like a week, and that we're going to lose time on promo, and we want you to do the promo. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Is it possible that we can get you today?" And I'm just like, wow. And I was like, "Well, I normally don't work this fast. Typically you have to go through the contract process, and I have to be able to prepare. I'm not always ready to just record the day of booking. But you know what? She met my rate, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this shit." So it was 11 a.m. and I was still at work, but I work from home, thank God. So I was like, you know what? I will go ahead and prepare, charge all my batteries, get all my equipment together, and, in the on-site that would do this, because she wasn't completely sure. She had to check with her other partners and stakeholders to make sure they could do it that night. So I go ahead and charge everything up, and I hadn't heard from her. And then at 4:45, she texts me and says, "Hey, are you available at 6? We have the models and we are ready to go." And I'm just like, "Okay, let's do this." So that day was a busy day at work. I hopped in the shower and I asked her for the address. The problem with that was I live on the other side of the world. I live in Gwinnett County, and I know if you're in Georgia or in Atlanta, you're cringing right now because that's all people ever do. And they were in Union City, which was by the airport, and it was 5 o'clock. So after work traffic. So yeah, you already know. So I put the address in my GPS, and it's an hour and 17 minutes away. So I was like, all right, so it's looking like it's going to be a 6:30 arrival time because, well, I don't live over there, so that's what it's gonna be. And she's just like, "Oh no, that's fine." And I think everybody respected that it was a last minute gig, so there was really no drama on any fronts because it was last minute. So they were more or less just grateful that they could find someone to work that fast. So it was whatever. So I hit it. I get there at 6:30 on the dot. Like it blew my mind. It was like, bow, 6:30. So I'm there, huge mansion. I'm talking like 17 rooms. I'm just like sitting here like, oh my God. And it's kind of like one of those homes that's in the middle of nowhere, in the sense that it looks like none of the other houses in that community. Like all the other houses were just regular homes. And then you turn into this street that almost looks like a ditch. That street is awkward as fuck. But it's like a little quick street that you can miss really, really fast. You have to be paying attention. Turn on that street, and then it's just like it's weird. It's a tight, narrow pathway, not even a street. And there's other little small homes there, and then there's this huge gap that you turn to the left, and there's this big ass house and this gate. I'm just like, okay, cool. So pull in, collect myself for a minute. I'm texting her because she wasn't going to be there because she was out of town coordinating it. And stuff like that always kind of makes me nervous with people when they hire me, but they're not there. But, she reassured me that other people were cool. She gave me their contact info. She let me know that, everything was agreed. They will pay me and blah, blah. So I was like, okay, cool. Go for it. Say yes. Just go for it, Kevin. Whatever. This is quick money during the week. So I get there and I meet the guy who is the owner of the home, and he kind of reminded me of Suge Knight. Like he just had a very big stature, tall guy, you know, like Suge Knight. And I'm just like, okay, you know, whatever. So he was super cool. He's like, hey, do you need me to move my car? You know, we're gonna set up over here, do this, that, and the other, blah blah. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You know, it's fine. So let's get to the shoot. Now, we started probably like almost an hour after I got there, which is normal. Anytime you do any kind of shoot or videos, like always never expect to start at the time that's said. I never do. I always allot for that. I knew that it was probably going to either be a quick shoot or it was going to be a late shoot. Thank God it was just a quick shoot because I was out by about 10 o'clock. Thank God. They just wanted a promo video. So the first girl arrives. I'm putting model and quotation marks now because I soon found out that these were actually strippers. And I was like, okay. So they said models, and I guess, you know, because it's a video, whatever, but they were actually exotic dancers. So the first girl gets there, she's like, oh, hi, you know, my name is, I'm not gonna say it, but she, you know, introduced herself, and she had a certain kind of shyness about her, but I noticed that she kind of took to me really, really fast. It was awkwardly fast. It was like she met me and all of a sudden she's like, oh, stay out here with me and come talk to me, like you get like, oh, let's, you know, we're just talking about stuff, like, okay, so what kind of stuff am I gonna be doing? I'm like, well, I'm waiting for one of the other people to get here so I can iron that out again, because there was like one more woman who was a part of the team, and so she arrived as well, and so we could talk about, you know, the flow of the video. So we you know, we got through all that. So anyway, the other two girls that were in the video got lost. They couldn't find it, which I get because it was in the middle of nowhere. But at the same time, it wasn't that hard to find. But it did become really like it came late, so it was dark. So maybe that was the caveat of all of that. But anyway, so it turned out to be softcore porn. That's all I'm gonna say. So the first girl took off her top, and all I saw were nipples. I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. Cool. That worked. And so they wanted a sexy ass video to promote this masquerade party. Cool, no problem. So I just thought rap video. I said, let me just go for the Rick Ross, you know, hip hop video. We in this mansion, and that's what we'll do. And we'll just blur out nipples and stuff and just go full throttle. It's nothing to me. But what was funny about this shoot was everyone thought I was straight. If not everyone, most of the people there thought I was straight. And I guess it's because I was quiet. You know, what was I going to say besides giving directives of what I wanted you to do? So one of the girls, the one who took to me early, I guess she had a crush on me or something, but she kept trying to get me alone. Like, oh, come here, or come in here with me real quick, or do this. And then she would be drinking throughout the shoot, you know, just to kind of loosen up. They all were drinking to loosen up. And I'm like, this seems like it could go downhill really badly, but I'm gonna mind my black ass business because I'm here to work. But she's just taking shots or whatever. And as she's taking shots, she's like, you know, she keeps like flashing me and dancing on me and trying to put her titties on me. And I'm just like, okay, all right. Still just like, whatever. I'm gonna keep it pushing. So it comes to a point where she's just like she starts grabbing my dick. And I'm just like, okay, I need you to stop. And she's just not stopping. And I'm just like, okay. And she's grabbing my soft ass dick because I am a full gay man. This is not a game that I'm playing. I'm not pretending for anybody. And she's like, damn, you just so damn fine. Oh, you're so fine. I'm just like, okay, you're barking up the wrong tree. Let's work. And so she ends up getting drunk and kind of hard to even work with at a certain point. Like, a lot of her stuff was cut out, but that's her business, not mine. But to say the least, it was an interesting shoot. But I think it went well. The video's done. They're now using it for their promo, and it seems like this might be an ongoing thing for further parties that they have. So who knows? It might be another another thing for me. But I'm like, I text all my friends like, you know what, add softcore porn to my services, because now I'm filming that, because that's what it was. It was a lot of girl on girl stuff. They were in a big ass bathtub full with bubbles and topless and just doing the absolute most. And who filmed it? Me. But I cracked up because the promoters are like, well, hey, we have a lot of work for you. And then one of the chicks was like, yeah, if you can control yourself. I'm like, girl, that is the last thing you need to worry about. I can control myself around these girls. Trust me. And when I saw my barber on Friday, he was like, so how'd it go? I said, oh, you knew? He's like, yeah, nigga, I knew. He's like, that's why I sent you. He's like, I thought you'd be perfect for that. You'd laugh at how crazy it was, but I also knew you wouldn't be trying to fuck the girls. He was like, you were perfect for that. I was like, well, thank you for thinking about my pockets. And also, yeah, crazy as fuck. So that was that. On Thursday, went to open mic to see Christopher Kelly. He's a new connection of mine that we met through a mutual friend in LA, and he moved out here with his partner, and we connected and stuff. But he sings like phenomenally, and we went to an open mic that he was the, what do they call it, the key performer that night. So he was the main performer. So they have it, someone sings first, they have like a little set, and then it opens up to other people. So he was the main act that night. He sang his ass off. When I tell you, he sang his ass off. And I've heard him sing before and thought the same things before, but man, he did If You Ask Me To by Patti LaBelle. He did SZA, The Weeknd. He did a couple other songs that I don't remember because I was so dumbfounded by the first two. So his SZA Weekend performance, I ended up ripping and making an MP3 so I could play it in my car. Like, dude can sing his ass off. Like, he's super talented, and yeah, it was a good time. But that night, because we were guests of his, we got in free. There were free drinks. There was free food. I won the contest of the night, which is Name That Tune, which is kind of like Shazam. And people don't understand, like, music is my life. Like, I grew up listening to everything. So when they were like, oh, come play this game, I was like, oh, this is in the bag. And all my friends knew that too. They were like, oh yeah, Kevin got this. And I won. So I got another free drink. But here's the thing. All the damn drinking on the Thursday night, it was just too much. So I had to get my hair cut early the next morning. So I ended up only getting, I think, 4 hours of sleep. I was miserable on Friday. My hair was laid. I looked great, but I was miserable on Friday because I was so tired. And I'm really starting to feel that over 30 recuperation thing of when you drink too much and you're trying to like get through it. I was tired. I only got 4 hours of sleep. So that whole day I was just kind of just groggy. And I realized that when I don't get enough sleep, things become really, really negative. And I think it's important to always recognize your triggers. You should always know what causes you to go into a very dark spot. And I realized that when I'm tired, I'm a little more negative about life and everything. Everything just seems like terrible when I'm not fully rested. So I was like, yeah, I need to realize that. I need to, take that in, note that. So it was a rough day, and I cracked up because I had a meeting, and luckily I worked from home that day. I had a meeting at 3:00. At 2:50, I was sitting on my couch, looking at the clock, knowing I had a meeting at 3:00. Do you know I passed out on the couch and woke up at 3:03? I was like, what the fuck? Really? Like, So it was a quick moment of anxiety, not really panic. I don't give a fuck like that. So I got hopped on, called in or whatever. And to see my fucking department manager decided to surprise drop in on that call. I'm like, you would pick this motherfucking call to bring your nosy ass in. So nothing was said. I just came right in the call. No one made a big deal out of it. No one even acknowledged that I was there. I just kind of talked regularly. It was just 3 minutes anyway. Like, it wasn't a big fucking deal, but the meeting did start. So, I just answered questions when needed to be answered and got through it. And then after that, it was downhill. After I do that 3 o'clock meeting, I'm usually just like, you know what, this day is over. So I was literally just miserable the rest of that day. Like, I couldn't sleep long enough or good enough. So that night I was in bed 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, no problem. And I slept until I didn't get out of the bed until 10 a.m. the next day. I woke up a few times, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to sleep a little bit longer because I want to make sure that I am fully rested, because I knew I had to edit and get some things done. So I felt better the next day. So Saturday was spent, I ran to the store because I had to get some jeans and some shorts because I've lost quite a bit of weight. And now my clothes are looking stupid on me, so I have to start buying clothes. I'm not a big fan of clothes shopping. I don't know if I mentioned that before. It's not really my thing. I don't care that much. Like, I do care about how I look. I do like how clothes look and stuff like that. But when it comes to shopping for clothes, it's just it's always difficult for me because I'm always thinking of other ways I can spend the money. I'm like, I could be buying this. I could be buying this. But it's whatever. So I went to the outlet near me and bought some shorts and jeans because I know I had the parade the next day and I have to go to the office this week, and I just needed some different pants because the pants I had before were just looking way too baggy on me. So I got that, came home, edited the video for the masquerade party. It was a quick turnaround. I usually don't work that fast, so it was a quick turnaround. So I did that. And then Sunday was the parade, the Pride Parade. And I know everyone's all like, damn, how many parades does Atlanta have? And I want to let you know that there are 2 official and 1 unofficial. Starting at the top of the year, we have MLK weekend. That is a unofficial Pride weekend. It's not really Pride. It's just a lot of niggas come here that weekend and they happen to be gay, and it ends up being Pride weekend. So that's unofficial. Then we have the official Black Pride Labor Day weekend. That's like with all the, the vendors and all that shit. And then there's the Everyone Pride in October. That's, typically known as White Pride because it's the majority, but it's the mass one. It's the huge one that it has all the stops and shows and all that shit, So yeah, there's 3, but 1 is very unofficial. So that should answer your question about that. So the beginning of the parade this year was interesting for me because I was running a bit late. Now, I'm the punctual friend, and anyone will tell you that typically I'm the one who's there just before or right on time. And so my late is not actually late. I wasn't actually late to parade at all, but I like to get places when I'm told to get there because I know that there are certain protocols and reasons why they have those times in place, So I had to be at the parade spot at 11 a.m. Now, every year at Pride, I know that's traffic's going to be stupid. It's going to be absolutely stupid. So I like to get there early. I like to park in the neighborhood near Piedmont Park, and then I usually take Marta to the parade spot, which is on Ivan Allen and West Peachtree. It's like a mile away, tops. So I was running late behind that. I know I have to get there early enough before everything goes to chaos and all the police start blocking off streets and shit. But I was running a little bit late, so I was like, oh shit. So I didn't leave my house until almost 10. And so I was like, okay, that's going to put me there about 10:25. And then I have to walk down to Marta, which is like a quarter of a mile from where I'm going to be parked. Get on there, hope it's on time, and get there by 11. And I'm like, I don't see it happening. And so when I got to the area, I got off on North, off 85, and I was like, okay, traffic is heavy as fuck. Like, they already have cops and hella people walking. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be tough. So I found a park very easily, thank God. But I also know where I go. I've been doing this for a while, so I know exactly where to go. So I was like, well, let me try Uber. Uber was like, it'll be $8 to go 1 mile. And that was in a fucking pool. I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. So I was I was in a spot where I was like, okay, MARTA, I was in between two MARTA stations. I'm like, but it's going to take more effort to walk to MARTA than it is to just walk to the parade spot. So I was like, fuck it. It was 10:30 at this point. I was like, I can walk to the parade spot. So I started walking. It was 0.8 miles away. And it said I would get there in about 20 minutes. So I would get there at like 10:50. I was like, cool. So I started walking. So I walked there to the parade spot. I get there at 10:50. And I was a little sweaty then. I was like, damn. And I had my nice white Coca-Cola shirt, but it was all spotted with sweat. I'm like, damn, I'm fucking up my look from my pictures, but whatever, it'll be okay. So I did that. So that started off a crazy day of walking. So did that. Got there early, got my flag, signed a little release forms. It seems like Coke cut the budget this year because it just wasn't like it normally was. First of all, we normally pass out sodas the whole time. They changed it this year where we didn't start passing them out until we got to like 8th Street. So I guess they only bought out like 1 or 2 pallets and didn't have enough for the parade goers. I don't know, don't care. And then we didn't have music this year, so we were like dancing to other people's music. It was awkward, and I don't know. In a way, my energy wasn't the same. I still enjoyed myself. I always enjoy doing the parade, but it was just a different kind of vibe for me. I was just kind of there holding my flag and just smiling and seeing people that I knew, but I just wasn't as into it this year. And it just, something wasn't, maybe it was just my initial walk there, but I still had a good time, but it wasn't my normal, like, yay, pride, but whatever. So we got through the parade, and then, what did I do when I got there? I walked around with one of my coworkers and friends, Anthony. He was in the parade with me as well. And so we were just walking around through all the vendors. I bought me some underwear from Boy Next Door, which is an underwear spot that's in Midtown. They were at the parade, and they had like a little, little clearance thing situation where it was like 2 for $20. Got them. Then we got like some paper towels and shit from Kimberly-Clark because they always have a vendor there that gives out free shit. I'm like, well, listen, this stuff will work very well at home. Like your parents always told you can always have paper towels, toilet paper, Kleenex, all that. Paper goods are always a good idea. So got my free paper towels, got some other like little tattoos and shit, and I had like bags, and I was like, God, I've become that guy. Back in the day, it would just be me. I didn't want to carry anything. I just wanted to be cute and have a little outfit on and, meet guys. Now I'm like, no, I want all the free shit. So I got all the bags and stuff. And so we're walking around. Then my phone, because of all the people out there, I didn't have service. So my battery was dead. I didn't have any of my portable chargers there. So I had to go to a little free charge station. I literally sat there for like 45 minutes and charged my phone all the way to like 80% with no shame. Just sat there. And it's so weird being without your phone that long, just kind of sitting there. But I charged my phone, and then I met up with Sensei Raven and Christopher's partner Malcolm. They came and found me, and we ended up kind of chilling a little bit. A lot of it, really. We went towards the stage. We were just kind of vibing out to the music, and while it rained, it stormed on us, but it was really, really fun. Like they were doing a cover of "Shut Up and Dance with Me." I forgot who the artist is who sings that song, but it was a song that came out maybe 3-4 years ago, tops. But it's called "Shut Up and Dance," and it was like a music video. Like it was raining hard, and we were just like, fuck it. And we just started dancing just super hard in the rain, and it was a good time. So after that, we decided to go grab some food. We were initially going to go to G's, but I had a feeling that because of Pride, it was going to be full. But Sensei Raven and the others were like, well, we came here yesterday, and it was fine. I was like, okay, cool. So we decided to all meet at G's, but I was like, hey, Raven, if you don't mind, I want to walk to my car and put the stuff in the car so I'm not carrying it. He's like, okay, cool. And he was like, I'll come with you. I said, okay, well, it's like 5 blocks away, but he's like, no, it's fine. So we walk and talk like we normally do to the car. And then at that point, I checked my phone and realized that I had walked 5 miles already. My phone was logging my steps. I was like, fuck, I've walked 5 miles today. So we go to G's. G's is packed. There was no way we were getting a table there. So we're like, let's try Joe's. So we walked to Joe's, which is, off of Juniper, about 0.3 miles away, maybe. Go to Joe's. Joe's has like a 2-hour wait, and it's a line for the wait. It was just stupid. I was like, okay, no, not doing this. Then we go to Einstein's, and Einstein's actually were like, oh, it'll be like 15, 20 minutes. We're like, okay, you are the winner. So we end up eating at Einstein's and chilling there. Then after that, walked back to my car and took my ass home. I got some wine, had the best shower, and I vibed out until I fell asleep. At the end of that day, I logged 7.2 miles of walking. So I was exhausted. So that was my weekend, and in a punch. I didn't realize I would spend 30 minutes telling you about my weekend, but hey, I mean, you get a longer podcast today. Woo! So hope your weekends and weeks are going well. Hope that everything is kind of flowing. So let's get to what's going on in I guess social media land. This is one of those weeks where I got a bunch of little articles that were funny and intriguing to me. And so I kind of want to talk about those a little bit, and I've saved them all because they're hilarious. So the first one is a restaurant in Long Beach, California was caught selling Popeye's chicken as their own, and they offer a bizarre explanation. Sweet Dixie Kitchen is a popular spot in Long Beach, and apparently they have like a bunch of dishes that have chicken, like chicken and waffles and just stuff like that. And there was someone who came in who made a Yelp review. And they said, before me and my friends and I got seated, we saw them quickly bring in 2 large boxes of Popeyes to the kitchen. I ordered the chicken and waffles to see whether or not they were serving it to their customers. I thought the chicken tasted suspiciously like Popeyes, but it was also rather stale. They must have been some old Popeyes, because when I remember eating meat, it was usually on point. But whatever, travel time, sitting there under the lamp, I get it. Maybe they microwaved it. Who knows? I kindly asked our waiter how they cook their fried chicken. After checking, he admitted that they do, in fact, use Popeyes. Okay. That's trash. Well, I wonder if when they do their taxes, I wonder if they write the Popeyes chicken off as an ingredient, like a write-off. That would be so interesting if they did. They probably do. Whatever. So instead of denying it, Sweet Dixie owner Kimberly Sanchez appeared to reply to the review by saying that they proudly serve Popeyes spicy tenders. But can you do that though? Can you buy food from other places and serve it and resell it? I'm curious of that, but whatever. After naming other places they borrow food from, Sanchez appeared to try and pass it off as a part of a collaboration with local businesses. That is the whitest shit I've ever heard, and she's probably not even white. If true, it is one thing to support mom and pop restaurants. It's another to just buy some chicken from an inexpensive fast food chain and pass it off as your own tasty menu item, okay? She even threw in some snark, something that seemed to be consistent with several of Sanchez's previous Yelp responses, saying, whatever to you in your little review, like it was some great exposure or whatever, and whatever to you, dude. Okay, I guess, girl. But I think the interesting thing is, she posted this thing on her page that was hilarious as fuck. On her Facebook page, Sweet Dixie Kitchen, and you can find it. It literally says, the owner of Sweet Dixie has a message to share with all of the customers. On our menu, roughly 95% is house made, starting with the potato. Okay, I'm not even going to read the rest. I'm stuck. So you're saying 95%, that's still an A. But we steal all our other food. Listen, trash. So if Popeyes, is out of chicken and you're in Long Beach and, you need some more, just go to Sweet Dixie Chicken and they will serve you some stale Popeyes, but you'll still get your Popeyes and you'll get a waffle to go with it. Sounds like a win-win to me. Moving on. So another article I saw yesterday was from Daily Mail. And also hilarious. It says FDA backs move to make bespoke condoms because the average size of 6.69 inches is too big for American men. So they keep slipping off. I don't need to read anything else to you from this article. I just want to respond by saying, bitch, where? Not in Atlanta. Not in Texas. Not in California. Not in Miami. Hell, not in New York. Like, this must be a Midwest thing. Yeah, I gotta be talking about white and Asian men or something. I don't know, because listen, and this is not even about me. This is about what I know. There's no shortage of big dicks out here. So I don't know. So the FDA wants to approve smaller condoms. Like, I know niggas who can't even fit the condoms that are made for them. Where is this happening? Where? They like, huh? And how are we just now figuring this out now? Like, people been fucking for a long time. Condoms have been around for a long fucking time. And now you guys deciding that it's slipping off too many people. So now we need to make a smaller size or make the regular size smaller. Baby, this is about to be very, very interesting. But I just found that hilarious. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't. What? Okay. Okay. That's fine. Whatever. Side note. So I posted this article on Facebook. And someone made a snide remark about Atlanta, because I was like, oh, well, this isn't happening in Atlanta. And they were just like, well, in Atlanta, aren't most people bottoms anyway? No shade. Okay, let me go ahead and just point something out really quick. Okay, number one, that is shade. So save that shit. Number two, what is it about Atlanta that makes people hate on it so much? I've noticed it's usually other gay men. It's not really anyone else. Atlanta is an amazing city, and I'm not even from here. I'm from California. I'm from Los Angeles, but I still enjoy being in Atlanta. And I've noticed that people who don't live here are super fucking negative about Atlanta because there are so many gay black men here, so they try to trash it. You know, Atlanta's where all the hoes live, or which isn't true. Atlanta is where the high HIV rate is, which also isn't true. We're not number one. We haven't been number one for quite some fucking time. And then Atlanta is where all the bottoms are. Like, it's all these negative statements that people have about Atlanta. Like, every time there's pride and, you know, like, oh, it's just a nasty place. And get the fuck over it. And I've noticed that it's people who have moved here and lived here, and it didn't work out the way they wanted to work out. You know, they thought they were going to move here and find love, and it didn't work out. Or, you know, just niggas didn't want them the way they thought they were going to want them. Or they couldn't find work here. Or they just couldn't make it. So instead of just saying, I couldn't make it in Atlanta, they rather talk shit about Atlanta when they move away. So I've noticed that there's just kind of this worldwide thing where people have these stereotypes about how the guys are here and all that. But guys are like gay men, like gay black men, gay men, like there's really no difference state to state. Trust me. Niggas are niggas everywhere. So stop that shit. So anyway, on to that other point. The whole idea that Atlanta is filled with bottoms is not true, and it's a stupid ass stereotype. Just stop. Because let me tell you something. I've never had a problem finding dick. Ever. So maybe, you know, if you're hating, and that's what I don't get. Like, I don't understand bottoms hating on bottoms for being bottoms. That's stupid. So maybe when you were out here, you couldn't find any dick. So you feel like there's only bottoms here. But maybe the tops here just weren't fucking with you. Maybe that's it. But stop hating. Stop doing that shit. Because listen, some of us don't have an issue. And I happen to be one of those people. So stop the shit. Cut it. Atlanta is a dope ass city. It's more than just a place that's filled with gay black men. Like, there's so much to do here. There's so much life here. It's an amazing place to be. Stop hating because it didn't work out for you. How the fuck about that? Moving on. So I saw another article this morning, actually, when I was just waking up and just preparing myself, you know, hopping on Facebook. And I was like, oh, that would be something cool to breeze through really quickly. And the article was called 28 Things Gay and Bi Men Should Never Do in Healthy Relationships. And I definitely wanted to kind of go through these and see what you guys thought and just talk about it a little bit. We don't have to go through all 28 of them, but I'm sure there will be something in here that we can really kind of, discuss. Number 1, compare yourself to him. When you're in a different sex relationship, it's much harder to compare yourself to your partner directly. But if you're a man dating another man, it's difficult to not compare yourself to your spouse. Nevertheless, try your best not to. Nothing good can come from this. You are two different people with different strengths and weaknesses. He may have a better body, but you're a kinder person. He may make more money, but you help more people. You want someone to balance you. Because of this, there will be things that he is better at than you, and that's 100% okay. I agree with that. I do know people who can't help but kind of compare themselves, but I don't think it's necessarily limited to homosexual couplings. It could definitely be heterosexual too, especially if with men who feel like they're really into patriarchy and their egos are trash. If their spouse or wife or girlfriends make more money than them, they feel like they're in competition with them, but all is fine and dandy as long as they're making more money, which is hilarious to me. It's a male ego thing, but it does feel like a competition sometimes, and have I ever felt like I was in competition with anybody? Not really. Yeah, no, I've never felt like I was in a competition. I always felt like, well, we're a couple, so shit, we can do whatever. But I will say it is interesting if each person makes, if one spouse makes way more money than the other person, that can be problematic, because if the person expects you to do the same things with them based on their income level and not based on your income level, like if they want to travel and do all this shit that you can't do, that can be a problem, because you're like, well, listen, this is how much money I make, and unless they're gonna cover it, and that could be a thing too, because I also have a thing about having someone cover too many things, because I don't know, I just never wanted to become a source of resentment, but that could be a thing, but you have to figure that out when you get there, so whatever. Number 2, compare him to your exes. Oh my God, please don't do that. It says comparing your new man to your old man is a big no-no. He's not supposed to be like the guys who came before him. They're exes for a reason. You don't want to be dating someone who's exactly like your ex. That relationship didn't work out. And that is the goddamn truth. Now, unless you fucked up, like let's say your ex is somebody that you probably cheated on or whatever, and they left you, and they were a good guy, and you're trying to get that again, that might be a different story. But at the same time, realize that people are different, and you can't bring in your expectations to another relationship like that. And the thing about expectations is, I don't get why we even have them without explaining what they are to people. I think some people have hidden expectations, and they expect people to fit the mold of that, and just no one can read your mind. Communicate that. But yeah, definitely understand that every new person that you meet and date is going to be different, and they're not going to be like your ex. Your ex was unique in that way, and they're your ex for a reason. So I'm down for that one. By the way, in case I forget, this article is written by Zachary Zane, and it's on pride.com. I don't want to forget that and not give proper credit to the writer of this list. Number 3, tolerate homophobic remarks from family. Baby. Or tolerate I'll stretch this. Tolerate homophobic remarks from anybody, even if it's your partner. One thing I can't stand is self-hate. Oh my God. I can't date anybody who talks about other gay men like they're the scum of the earth. It drives me crazy. It's stupid. You're gay too. Stop it. It's not you versus everyone else. You ain't shit either. Stop. But yeah, don't tolerate people who call your life a lifestyle and all that shit, harass you, and fuck all that. Do not. That's a big no-no. So that's a great one. Number 4, don't get jealous of random guys. Whew. All right. This says it's tough not to get jealous when guys check him out and not you, or guys always flirt with him and not you. It makes you feel like the uglier one in the relationship. And if you are, so what? It means you're dating up. It means he likes you for more than your looks. It means you're a real awesome person. Listen, this one is funny to me. Well, number 1, I've never been the ugly boyfriend, so I don't know what the fuck that even means. But I'm cracking up at let's just talk about jealousy in general. Jealousy is a killer. It's a silent killer of relationships because I think it allows people to get eaten alive. You know, you get so caught up in, is he going to leave me for somebody else? Or is he cheating on me? And it's just a slippery slope of just bullshit. I know that some people can't help but be jealous. It's a trait of theirs, and I don't really know what the advice would be, but try to keep it at bay, because jealousy it's a waste of energy. If someone chooses to be with you, they choose to be with you, and that should just be it, you know? So trying to get too caught up in that. All right, the next one says, lie about your wants, needs, or desires. Oh, I'm loving this one already. Don't say you're okay with being in an open relationship if you're not. Amen. Don't claim you're not looking for something serious if you are. Similarly, don't lie in the other direction because you're afraid of hurting his feelings. Don't say you're okay with a serious relationship if you're not. Be honest about what you want from him and the relationship. I don't need to add shit else to that. I agree wholeheartedly. Next, you can say no. It's surprisingly difficult to say no, especially to the people we really care about. Unless you're a bitchy queen, then it's probably not that hard. Okay, they need to have to put all that, but it's all right. I get it. It's pride.com. But it's crucial in a relationship to be able to say no whenever you feel uncomfortable. That's real. I'm here for that one. Next, not reciprocating sexually. Amen. Hallelujah. Oh, I'm already here. Amen. Shondo. Hallelujah. You need to be generous lovers, doing things for both you and him. A relationship with a selfish lover never works out. Let me tell y'all, because it never works out. In the sex episode, we talk about this. So many people feel like they can just come and just take and not give. And it's like, who the fuck do you think you are? Who the fuck do you think I am? That's stupid. Like, it's not about you. It's not. It's about us. Next. Belittle him. A little joke here and there is fine, but constant jokes are no longer funny. Embarrassing your partner repeatedly or belittling him in front of his friends is not acceptable. Listen, you say anything in front of anybody, it's going to be a fucking problem. And just, I don't do that talking down shit anyway. I've talked about that on the podcast before too. I've had someone say some things to me and I was just like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work out. I don't care even if you're trying to hurt me. No, it's not going to work out because it's just disrespectful and not even necessary. Number 9, shit. Force him into the closet. Yeah, no, that's not going to work out. Next. Ask him to give up his friends. Yeah, no. And that goes along with social media too. Like, y'all got to get out of this whole idea that someone has to give up the life they had before you to be with you. And you know what? I'm going to stop here with this list because that pushes very well into my next topic. So, or the main topic rather. I'm sorry. I was talking to Sensei Raven the other day, and we're just talking about like recent dates that he's had and that, you know, people that I've talked to, and like we normally do before yoga. We crack up because every time we start yoga, we end up talking a lot before actually doing anything like meditation. So now we're allotting more time frames just to talk because we always have so much to say. And I was telling him that every time I get to a place where I feel like I might want to date somebody, I hear a story, I read an article like the one we just read of something or someone who's going through something that reminds me like, yeah, no, fuck that. I just feel like I'm out for the count sometimes. And companionship is a beautiful thing. I think love is a beautiful thing, and I do think it is possible. Don't get me wrong. But I'm in a place in my life where I am just zero tolerance for any kind of bullshit. It doesn't take much for me to just be like, you know what? That's okay. Because I don't look at relationships the way that everyone else looks at them, if that makes sense. People feel like you have to be in relationships, or you have to do all this compromising just so you can have this love. And I'm kind of like, fuck that. No, I'm not doing it, because what's going to happen is I'm going to end up being unhappy just to say I have some kind of nigga next to me, and that's stupid. So when I hear these stories about people making these terrible compromises that they're only going to resent their partner for, or these arguments that people have, or the way that their partners talk to them or shame them or do things to them or take and not give or reciprocate, I say to myself, I'm just out for the count, because I don't see it happening for me with where I am in life. Number one, I have a lot of factors that have changed for me in the last maybe 5 years that already put me at a negative when it comes to dating. And those are as follows. Number one, religion. I'm in the South. Well, hell, black people in general just love them some Jesus. And that's completely fine. I respect that, okay? Black people love Jesus. They do. Oh my God, they love Jesus. Jesus. Poor white Jesus. We love him so much. I am just I'm not a Jesus person anymore. I used to be. I'm not anymore. So that's already an issue when it comes to dating, because I'll meet guys and they'll be heavy churchgoers or whatever, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with it. The problem is they're not okay with me not going to church. It's always this idea that I should go to church for them. And it's kind of like this. Christianity is the white people of religion. Meaning, anytime you're not a Christian, if you're agnostic, atheist, Jewish, Muslim, whatever, a lot of Christians assume that you should just convert over to Jesus to make it all right with them. And nah, I'm not doing that. You can go to church, but I'm going to stay home, watch Super Soul Sunday, meditate, get my chakras together, do some yoga, and be all right. And you should be okay with that. I don't understand why I have to respect your beliefs, but you don't respect mine. That doesn't make any sense. So that's already kind of a big one too. A lot of people feel like, well, because the Bible teaches that, and I know that. I remember going to church. The Bible teaches if you're not equally yoked, you shouldn't be dealing with people, because if you guys don't believe the same, it's not going to work, because God's not going to bless that union, blah, 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 blah. So that's number one. So my belief system doesn't work with other people's, so that's already an uphill thing. Number two, my views on monogamy and polygamy. Another sore issue for a lot of people. All they hear is open relationship. They don't hear anything else I'm saying, because they zero in on that and automatically fast forward to me allegedly cheating on them, which is very immature to not actually think things through and just make these decisions based on a hunch that you have. That's trash. So, as I talked about on the show several times, just give you a brief Cliff Notes version of what I mean by this. I believe in transparency. I want a partner that I can talk to directly about everything. Meaning, I can tell you when the sex ain't popping like it was, and you can tell me the same. If I'm feeling like I want something else, I want you to tell me if you feel like you want something else. We talk about it and figure out what we want to do as a couple. It's not cheating. It's us being transparent. If I am presented with an open relationship, I probably wouldn't care. That's what I mean by that. I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it, because I understand human nature. I understand how these things go. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I want an open relationship. I'm saying I want transparency. If we choose to be monogamous, we can choose to be monogamous and be monogamous and not betray one another by breaking that agreement. But if we say we're going to be open, that's cool too. There are so many people who have issues with me having that viewpoint that they're like, oh no, I can't. You guys, you heard the episode with Charlie. You heard when I talked about the guy that didn't want to date me anymore. You've heard me talk about this. So that's number 2, uphill battle. Number 3, I hate heteronormative behaviors. I hate that shit. Like, it's trash. Like, we're 2 men. I don't want to follow a guideline of straight people. They barely got it together. Get out of here with that. And that, among other things like bad communication and talking to me any kind of way, and it doesn't take much for me to be over it. So I'm just kind of embracing being single, and I'm okay with it. I live my life for me. I'm sexually liberal, so I mean, that's not a problem. But it will definitely take a lot. And I know people say, well, there's somebody out there who's just like you. And here's the thing. I do believe that there's someone out there who's just like me, because nothing that we believe and think, we're not unique in that. You know what I mean? There's always people who believe similar things. I do believe there's people out there like me, but I don't really see me meeting them anytime soon. And that's okay. I'm not panicking because I'm not with anybody. I'm living a great life. I enjoy singlehood. I enjoy my alone time. And I think that threatens people too, because I like my alone time. That's another uphill thing. I kind of want the next relationship to be separate. Like, hey, can we just live in our separate homes and just, visit each other for an extended period of time? Like, I can stay with you for 2 weeks. That's fine. But as soon as you get on my fucking nerves, I want to be able to go to my dwelling spot and be by myself. And I need that to be okay. Like, I just don't want to be possessed by another person. I want to live my life as I live it now, but companionship that's great. And I don't understand why we can't be individual together. People want way too much in these relationships. They want ownership, and I'm not something that you can own. I'm just not. And so I'm kind of in a place where I'm just like, fuck it. Like, I'm living for me. And I know things change, seasons change, and I change my mind from episode to episode. I listen to old episodes and I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with that anymore. I changed my mind on that. I don't do that anymore. So my mindset can completely change. But what I'm not going to do is lie about who I am and what I believe and what I want for the sake of making somebody else happy just to say I have a relationship. That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm not doing that. I don't see a need to do that. It's stupid. So I'm just feeling like single life is where it's at. Like, shit is just way too, I'm just not in a place to do that type of work just to be in a relationship. I don't see the need. I honestly don't. I don't see the need. At this point, I look at a relationship like a luxury. It's not a necessity. It's not intimate relationships. I love my friends. I have great friendships. I have great agape love. I feel loved. I love myself. I don't need intimacy in that way to the point that I am compromising everything that I am just to please somebody else, and they're not doing the same for me. And from my experience, a lot of these relationships is one person doing all the goddamn compromising and the other one just taking. And I just don't want a part of that. Like, I'm good. I am so good. So I'm feeling like this is just the move right now. Single is good. And that doesn't mean I'm not willing to date. It doesn't mean I'm not willing to try new things. It doesn't mean that at all. I'm still open to the idea. It's just going to take a very special type of person to be equally yoked with me, because I know I come with a lot of non-negotiables and a lot of deal breakers on other people's ends. That religious piece is big for people. That polygamy piece is big for people. And I get it. Respect yourself. You shouldn't have to compromise who you are to be with somebody like me. I wouldn't want you to do that. I don't want anyone to be happy, but I just want to be able to be individual together. We don't need to own and possess one another to be in a relationship. We don't. Like, I don't understand how friendships and relationships are so much different when all you're changing is intimacy. I was telling Sensei Raven the other day, I said, you and I can have an argument or a disagreement, which we haven't really had, but you and I can have that, talk it through, and get over it like that. Be done with it. But for some reason, if I am having sex with someone, it's just a harder thing. And I don't get that. We're just elevated friends. Why is it so hard for us to communicate and get through? It seems like when you add intimacy to something, everything just becomes complicated for no reason. Like arguments don't go as well. Pettiness levels go high as fuck. And then it becomes a whole me versus you thing. And I don't get it. I don't get it. And I can't rock with it. So I would rather be alone, but not lonely. Okay? I would rather just do my own thing. And if someone special comes along, that will be that. So, yeah. I feel better now that I've said that. But yeah, that's today's show. I don't want to talk your ear off too much, but hope you guys have a great week. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you're sharing the podcast. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. You can find me at The World of Kevin or The Outline Podcast. Let me know your thoughts. Please check out Sensei Raven's podcast, THS Podcast on Apple Podcasts. Check out KevinDwayne.com. And that's that. Peace out. Have a great day and week.